knowing of the miracle of the body, that the body does know how to heal if you let it. I was doing everything right, but I needed something else, and that was Arno.
Welcome, everybody. I am here today with a special guest who is my family, Dr. Boo Bernier. Many of you know the backstory of the reason that I can channel is because of Boo's dad, Dr. Arno Burnier. I was this young girl in my early 20s, and Arno was this very powerful healer, famous chiropractor. He had hands of magic. Big, big hands.
One thing I know about Arno is he just loved people, helping people, healing people. It was his life's mission. He loved chiropractic. It transformed his life. So anytime he could meet and make an impact on someone's life and health and well-being, he would always take that opportunity.
As a family of humans, we definitely need an awakening. My vision has been to elevate human consciousness in matter of life, health, healing, wellness, and well-being. Your state of being is paramount.
And he passed away about a year and a half ago, and I was teaching a class. Some of you were in it, some of you weren't. It was called the Death Light Code, and it was all about conscious dying. And Arno decided to come through my body. And he had something to say, but more than what it was he had to say, he brought this frequency of healing. Everything just lit up after class, and there were messages binging everywhere. Oh my God, that was the most profound experience. Or I had sciatic pain for 11 years, and after the transmission, this woman said she just stood up and the pain wasn't there. I was like, wow. And then another woman said that she was with her mother and they were both listening to the transmission. And her mom just was in so much pain, she wasn't able to walk. And she just started bawling and crying, like this huge emotional release. And when she was finished with the release, she stood up and she put her hand like behind her back, and the pain wasn't there. I'm, curious, how does that even work? Like, how does somebody who's not even in their body anymore be able to come through and share the potency of their healing capacity in a way that hundreds of people listening to it, although thousands listened to it, we got hundreds of testimonials, felt something in their body. Not only did they feel something, but actual physical symptoms and pain dissipated. I don't know. It feels pretty miraculous. And yet, everything with Arno was kind of miraculous.
In September of 2024, I was diagnosed with endometrial cancer. Now, not being an allopathic girl, and Boo very much sharing, having read a lot of your father's book as well, but also, what he said in the transmission about, the view of the allopathic, and I've always had a horror of, if I'm in a car crash, fine, get me under a surgeon's knife, but otherwise, please don't. And the thought of cutting out, cutting out lymph nodes and, full hysterectomy and so on was like, no. I'm lucky enough to have all my body parts, and I'd love to be able to keep them. Of course, the OBGYN was, you need to have full hysterectomy. You don't have to do chemo and radiation, but, this is your only course of action. And fortunately, my doctor, who's a DO, had success with a number of his patients where he had used various supplements and just various treatment methods to get them through, and they ended up cancer-free. And I basically went through 17 months of it not working. And by December, the symptoms were getting very strong. And I was actually quite traumatized by the thought of I may have to contemplate a hysterectomy. So with Arno, I had no expectation whatsoever. And I was fascinated because obviously I'd experienced chiropractic. And during the transmission, I was getting really strong registers. I was like, oh, there's something really going on. I mean, my body was contorting. And it was like this internal, deep, it was like a cry that came, this contorted cry that came up through my body and out my mouth. And the only thing that I remember of it was of him talking about a garden hose and how when you have a kink in it, the water can't flow. And I think he invited us to, are you willing to release that kink? And it was that feeling of, hell yes. And I was actually very surprised when afterwards the symptoms continued. And 1 week later, bang on the Wednesday, they stopped completely. And it was just this, wow, that's incredible. And it was just such gratitude. Just such a feeling of gratitude.
I worked for Arno when I was young. It was before I even had my kids, and it was pretty incredible. You would go to the office in the morning, and he was incredibly disciplined, and everything was in order, and he was always on time, and he kept super strong, strict hours. And he was just all about these beautiful, big healing hands. And people would come in, he'd spend a full hour and a half with them explaining how the body works and the life force energy and how he was going to open up this channel and how symptoms in the body were a signal to their body talking to them. He talked about how important it is for us to have fevers and to listen to the body. And he would have extraordinary painful things happen to him, like really painful. And then boom, my nephew, who's right here, we're going to talk to in a minute. I remember he was like a little kid. He had this terrible ear infection and it was just awful. And he was screaming and it was so painful. And then it was getting worse and worse and worse. And we're like, you've got to, give him an antibiotic. You got to do something. And he was so steadfast in, no, I'm going to let the body do what the body needs to do. And he deeply trusted in the innate intelligence in the body. And because of that, it changed my life in that I view my body differently. I approach the way that I eat, the way that I live, in a very different way and trust into the body. And I raise the kids that way, to trust and listen to their body. And if you give it time, it has this incredible intelligence and it will heal itself. And then sometimes we need some help.
I'm listening to Arno's transmission and, it just opened up a part of me that had not been open for years. And the reason around that probably is because my dad was a chiropractor.
Wow.
Yeah. So I had, a lot of adjustments from Dad when I was a little girl. So during the transmission, when Arno's hands were under my head, his hands became my dad's hands. And I remembered those hands, those strong, I'm going to get emotional, the strong, warm, hot hands that were gently rocking my head back and forth. And, it just shot me right back into being that little girl on the table with my dad's hands under my head. And then I remembered that my dad did love me, because for a long time I just didn't feel like I was important in his life, and he didn't love me. So with that, it really opened up the floodgates, and I just bawled my eyes out, just cried like a baby. And I think I released a lot of years of stuck grief that I had no idea I was holding. And even after the transmission, I just sat here and just processed it and just let that grief come that I had no idea. And so that part was, really healing for me. And I thought that was my healing, and it was.
What sounds really profound to me is that you didn't feel this grief for your father because it was like corked up by this belief that he didn't love you. And in that moment of that transmission, the release and realignment was awakening to the truth that he did love you in a particular way,
Right.
and which freed the grief to, come out and express itself now that you were able to kind of grieve and see the love that you did have at one point that now
Right.
is no longer there.
I'm wondering, Boo, that when he came through, maybe it wasn't that he was healing anyone. Maybe he was just opening up the pathways so their body could heal. And it just occurred to me now that, for instance, the testimonial of this woman who was sobbing, it was that emotional release that she had that was probably holding something in the body that was creating the pain. Through the transmission, it allowed that release to happen, opened the life force energy, and the body took care of itself. So tell me, after growing up with Arno your whole life, what would you like to share? And what do you think about him coming through now that he's passed away and healing all these people?
All right, and Kelly, well, thanks so much for allowing me this space and to be here to share my thoughts. It's wonderful. So I would say, first, I don't know, how these things take place, these miraculous healings, but they do. I've witnessed it throughout my whole life with Arno, watching him help people, assist in healing and well-being for them. But I still don't know. I'm a chiropractor. I have a practice here in Barcelona, Spain. I help people as well. And people have incredible healing experiences. And whether or not it's something that's given to them or it's something that's released within them, it's hard to know. But in chiropractic philosophy, we always say it's not coming from outside in, it's always from inside out. So what you said, I would agree. At least I would think it's more from within that person, and it's something that's being released inside of them that then dissipates whatever that process they're going through, whether it's pain or symptoms or disease. But yeah, it's hard to know.
We're excited because you're going to come and share some of the teachings of Arno and your own teachings, and share with us how we can align and come into ease within our own nervous system, because this world is filled with a lot of busyness and toxicity, and we're fighting against a lot of things in our environment and in our food and in our lifestyles. And if we can start to come back into alignment with all of that, it can make just such a huge difference. So I wanted to share with you guys on Monday, which is March 2nd, for a whole week. Boo is going to be with us for an hour every morning, and then I'm going to pop in at the end, and who knows, I have a feeling, although I'm a little resistant to it, that Arno is going to come through me, and a lot more people are going to receive a lot of healing.
I had an accident and fractured some vertebrae. vertebral nerves, sorry. And basically, I was in a wheelchair for 2 years, and then I had to learn to walk and still have a lot of pain. There's no cure for it, but there is, or surgery right now, but there is, they have to burn my nerves. That sounds really archaic, but it basically how and then they grow back every 6 months. Then we got to the day when Arno was speaking. She channeled Arno. And oh my gosh, I was just like, I was in so much agony just watching him pain-wise in my back, my spine. And that night, I was sitting on my therapy pad, and I just said out loud to Arno, I said, if there's anything you can do, I really hope that you can heal my low back, my back right now. And then, so I got into bed, and I was thinking, as I was getting ready for bed, I was thinking, oh my gosh, he probably has like 1 million people calling in on him right now, and because of the transmission today. And so when it got down to it, I lay down in my bed, and boom, I felt his hand on my back, right there on that part of my spine I was praying about. His hot hand. I just froze. I couldn't even breathe. I mean, then I just started saying, thank you, Arno, thank you, Arno. Oh my God. It was just the most profound experience. It was incredible.
What did you feel? What did you feel when you felt his hand?
I felt his hand. And I want to say I felt his hand slap on my back, but I feel like almost when I lay down, thump, his hand was just stuck. That's the only way I can describe it. It was like that. But on that left side of my spine, it's just incredible. It was just like exactly what I was talking about, that area. I mean, how did he know that? But it was, I didn't describe exactly where it was. I was just like, you can help me, I have this pain, right here. And I mean, I have pain in different places, but that was the worst. So, yeah, it's a then. After that, well, of course, I just passed out with joy. And the next morning, I woke up as usual, and I thought, when I started walking down the hallway to get coffee, I realized I had no pain in that side of my back. And I actually felt taller, because with my compressed vertebral fractures, I lost 2 inches. I felt like my full 5'4", but even taller. I just felt so lengthened. I was a Pilates instructor in my lifetime, and so I always had great posture and strength, and I felt like that again. I just felt tall, and it was just the most amazing thing. And so I just felt really connected and so grateful and thankful to him.
But the greatest thank you can give a teacher or a mentor or a guide in life, a Sherpa, is to do something with a gift that he gave you.
I'm just excited to honor him and to bring Boo aboard to connect with all of you in our community and just go on this healing journey together, where we take time to really tap into our nervous system, what it means to awaken the innate intelligence within, to settle into the presence of our own being, trust our body, understand what symptoms are, all those things. So, Boo, is there anything that you want to tell us about what's happening next week before we go?
That I'm excited and honored, and also a little nervous, because I want to do a tribute to him and to carry on, which I know is his mission and purpose, and that is to elevate human consciousness in the areas of health, wellness, and well-being. But again, we're 2 different people, so he's, got big hands to fill, big feet big shoes to fill, as you would say. But I'm looking forward to it. And ultimately, if we can help people just within their healing process, whatever that shows up for them, that would be amazing. And like you said, I think, especially now, more than ever, a lot of people need it to reflect on what is health, wellness, where can they go to receive that? Where is the support for people's health and well-being? What is it? And then, of course, I'll be sharing a lot of things that Arno shared to me or to others throughout his life. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I'm so honored to do this with you and to connect with his energy and vibration. And I know in the heart of my heart that people will be receiving healing on many different levels throughout the week. What he's been showing me is that from the other side, he's actually in a place where he's learning more healing and more ways of doing it. He showed us this place that he was in the afterlife, where he was sort of being a student right now, and he was taking in this deeper understanding of how to heal on an energetic level. And it seems as though he wants to, from the other side, come in and heal people.
The same night of the day that Kelly spoke about Arno, I had a dream about him. We were sitting across from each other at a cafe on small black metal chairs with a round table that had a very intricate top. He was sitting on the left and I was on the right, and he seemed quite tall, and for some reason his head looked very huge. He spoke like a very astute person, and I felt like I was his student, like he was teaching me. He was speaking about learning healing, not healing, but learning healing. What I came away with was the strong feeling that when it comes to learning healing, we should focus on the process, focus on the tools, focus on the knowledge used for healing first, and then the healing will come.
If you guys want to connect with Arno's energy, he did write a book. It's called The Café of Life by Dr. Arno Burnier. And it's really wonderful. And there's so much packed in here. And it might be something you want to read before class starts if you have a chance. And I think it's probably on Kindle too, I hope. And just pull it up and even just tap into different chapters here and there and feel into his frequency. And whether I'm channeling him or not, you have access to him. So if there's people out there right now who have something going on a physical level, you could call upon him and just say, "Hey, Arno."
Yeah, do it. And he's more than happy. I know that. It was amazing in his life. He would stop for anyone and to try and connect and make an impact.
I know, right? I remember when I worked with him, we would go out for lunch and we'd be eating, and like somebody would be like coughing, like table next to us, and he would like, "Do you mind like if I just put my hand right here or something?" he was totally and we had children and babies always in the office. I remember this one little baby, I wish I could think of her name, but after she was born, she wasn't really doing well, and she was kind of like limp, and she wasn't able to really cry. And she came in, and the mother was just beside herself. And Arno just started palpating and working on her, and you could like feel this like almost like life force energy move through her, and she just became like alert. And from her hand, I remember her little tiny arm and hand was just like this to starting to get its like tone back. And within a few weeks, she was just like moving and smiling and so sweet. And there were so many things like that, and so many stories.
Oh, yeah.
So many families that were changed their entire life.
I just had this vision of Arno as like such a like loving, fun, and just genuine guy. He definitely had an impact on me and my practice. And so hearing him in the transmission, that was super fun for me. I was super excited. But then also something that really touched me was when he said, "Look, we are evolving past these old definitions of what healing is." That just kind of like, for me, it allowed me to say like, hey, like I have had this conflict of the definition of healing, and that's just contextual in our society, because there is this dichotomy within chiropractic. There's like the you and the us and the them, and in chiropractic with the medical fields and all sorts of different groups within chiropractic even. And I never really felt good about that. And when he said like, yeah, like we are all evolving, and in such we will be evolving the way that we can heal, I was like, that is, Arno, you hit it on the head. That has been my sentiment for so long, and I didn't know how to articulate it, so thank you.
Didn't even stop with the human beings. At home, I was a little kid, and we moved into this house on Aquaton Road. They built this big house, you know it, and there was these windows that faced each other. And he started to hear some bangs, and then he went out and he realized, oh, there's birds that are hitting the window and dying. So the next time he heard it, he runs out and he just holds the bird in his hand, and you can see it's still, there's some life, but it's not gonna make it. And you could see the neck was totally twisted from hitting obviously the window. So he adjusted it. He did what he knew and then just held it to, you know, nurtured it. And within a couple minutes, the bird flies away. And he did this several times. I watched it, I witnessed it take place. And one time when he was gone and he wasn't there, I heard the same sound. And I was a little boy, like 8 years old, and I did the same. And the bird flew away because of the adjustment. But he couldn't help himself. That's who he was. And so, like I said, it makes sense. Even though if he's on the other side, he's still doing exactly the same thing.
So I started going to a network chiropractor. And this is a man I met when I first started in 30 years ago. He told me, he looked it up and he found me. He said, it's been 30 years since you've been here. And now I feel Arno there all the time. He has his hands. One of the worst places in my body is in my neck. It's a very, very out of balance place. When I made a list to take to the chiropractor, to Dr. David, everything was in my head. All the things I listed were in my head. And, you know, yesterday when I was listening to Kelly or Heather, they were saying how we're moving from the head to the heart. And it just really, I felt like it was such a blessing to hear that and to know that what I call issues are all here in the head. And they're moving to the heart. And I'm feeling more and more like it's just being present in however the body is, and welcoming everything, no matter what. It's not like I'm doing that all the time. I'm grumpy and I get in a bad mood and everything. However, I still know that, you know, welcoming what is part of this whole acceptance of this human form, and that this isn't all that I am.
I remember you telling me you were nervous to go at first because you weren't sure what the experience was going to feel like. And you even wanted to know, did Kelly and Casey have a recommendation of somebody they could recommend, because you didn't know how this would feel. And then not long after that, I remember hearing from you with exuberance of what this experience was and how connected it felt. And the fact that he just lit up when you brought up Arno, and how things had already shifted since you've been. I mean, this sounds like we're talking about months and months, but we're talking about 2-3 weeks here, and so much has already transpired.
That's true.
Well, it's going to be a amazing time and experience. I'm really looking forward to it. I listened to the channeling that you did for the Death Code, and to hear what came through was really, really amazing. So looking forward to it and connecting even more.
Yeah, me too. Really looking forward to it. So we'll see you there if you just want to tune in and feel the frequency. And in the meantime, read Arno's book and call out to him. And it's interesting that so many of the testimonials coming in are people that have, like they said, they had sciatic pain or back pain or something was going on with their neck, or it was really interesting. It was often it seemed to be some kind of pain in the nerve, like in the spine of some sort. So
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
know.
it was kind of his specialty, not just through chiropractic care, but also personally, because he went through so much pain with his back and nerves and nervous system. So I'm sure he wants to help as much as he can unconditionally, because he knows what that means, what it entails.
Yeah, he was what you would call the wounded healer.
Yeah.
Right? And he was so dedicated throughout his own pain to helping others no matter what. There would be times where he couldn't even walk himself. And this was due to a terrible accident that he had when he was young. And he would literally get in the car. We would have a hatchback station wagon, and we would slide him in, and he would lay flat, and I would drive him to the office because he wasn't going to miss a day of work. He was going to be there to help the people. And I was just like, wow. And then he would scoot out and stand up, and he couldn't sit, all day. And then it would be lunchtime and he couldn't sit down. And he would just stand up and eat his lunch, and we would go all day from whatever, we'd leave at 8 a.m. We'd get home at 8 or 9 at night, sometimes 10 at night. And he was just so dedicated to his mission and to healing people. So it's no big surprise he's still doing it. And I think in some ways it's even more powerful than ever before.
I was kind of thinking the same too, because he's like, well, think about then. And I was with a limited body with all kinds of issues. And now I'm free.
When you surrender to your soul and to a life that you were born to embrace, and you surrender to that life, there will be hypersynchronicity, there will be serendipity, there will be providence, there will be grace that will meet you every step of the way.
So if you guys want to join us, we're going to have this beautiful week together, a tribute to Arno, healing, learning about the body, connecting with him. I'll bring him in, and Boo will be sharing with us so much. He's a gifted healer himself and has magic hands too. So we're delighted to have him. He's a speaker and a teacher, and he's a little humble, but he has lots to share. So we'll see you Monday. I'm sure there's a link somewhere, wherever you're listening to this, in the video that you can click on, and we'll talk soon.